Welcome back to the USATF 100-mile championship here at Jackpot Ultras. We're in Henderson, Nevada, and I am joined by Lauren Jones. Thank you for joining us, Lauren.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, pleasure. Thanks for being out here and racing an incredible race. You ended up finishing second place overall, and you did it in an incredible fashion that you moved up throughout the entire day. We're going to start off talking about essentially how your day went out there. Did it go as expected? What were your goals, and how do you feel about it?
My day did not go as expected. I thought I'd be a lot slower.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a good good
good.
problem to have.
Yeah. No, I just came here with the goal of trying to qualify for Desert Solstice. So I just had that time in my brain, and that time was 15:50, and that just seemed like a stretch goal. So I just thought I'd try it and see. I've never done a looped timed course like this. So it was just an entirely new experience. I didn't know what to expect or how to pace it or how it would feel. I'm usually like a trail mountain runner. So running on pavement was interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's dive into that a little bit. So normally being a trail mountain runner, what inspired you to want to come and do specifically Jackpot Ultras? I know that you mentioned you wanted to go to Desert Solstice, so that was this was your pathway to that, was earning and qualifying here. Mm-hmm. But what brings you to this little sub niche of our already niche sport?
Yes. Well, I had just struggled with a schedule for the year of what I wanted to run, and for some reason I decided before I'm too old, because I'm in my 40s now, I just wanted to see how fast I could actually run 100. And so I mentioned that to my coach, Nicole Manette, who is a really good runner at these kind of events.
Right.
And she was excited about the new path, and she suggested this race. She had had some really great runs here, and just said it was a really great place to try to qualify, which it was. Yeah,
and especially for a mountain. So this is not the flattest. For those at home who are watching thinking that, oh, it's a USATF road championship, it's got to be pretty flat. It is fairly flat, but this course does have some elevation change each lap, each mile that you're out there. How did you feel like you had an advantage there as a traditional mountain runner? Did you not notice it at all? I'm sure you noticed it towards the end.
Yeah.
But you felt like you had kind of an advantage there?
I don't know if I had an advantage, but it made me feel more comfortable with it. I'm used to having like changes in elevation and stuff, and it's nice to change up the muscles and just the effort and all that stuff. So it felt nice for me. And it was just like more of what I'm used to.
Yeah, even a little gravel section in the back just made you feel at home on the trails for just a second.
Just for a second.
Lap.
Yeah.
I was able to get out on the course, and I was actually surprised at how the elevation felt. I was anticipating pancake flat road, and we did notice that everybody kind of slowed down a little bit on those uphills and then let those downhills take them. So it was kind of fun to watch. But speaking of days unfolding, yours kind of unfolded in a way that you worked your way up the field all day long. And you'd mentioned earlier that you felt like 15:30 was a stretch goal, and you cleared that by going sub 15 here. So was there a moment where you were like, I'm holding back too much, I need to just let go, and then you just took off? How did that play out?
No, my plan was just to start at a really comfortable pace. I was trying to just run with blinders, not necessarily be competitive, but with the goal of the time. I was more so trying to race the clock and get a qualifier. So that was my goal from the get-go. It was just like block out everything else, just focus on that time. So I was just going to run at a comfortable pace, and then just see how long I could hold it. And I thought I would fade way harder and way faster, and it just kind of kept feeling fine. So I just went with it.
Yeah, I mean that's great foreshadowing for Desert Solstice. I think that's going to, I mean, hopefully that gives you a little bit of inspiration and excitement moving into your training for Desert Solstice. Between now and Desert Solstice, what do you have going on in your calendar? What are you looking forward to this year in terms of training? And how does that fit into your life schedule with, life outside of what we do here in these ultras?
Yeah. So I don't actually have any other races on the calendar currently. I'm sure some will pop up, but I'm getting married in July.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
exciting.
Thanks. I'm excited. But I promised to show up chafe and blister free to the wedding.
Nice.
So
I like that. I love that.
Take a little race break for that. But I'll train. I'll recover from this and just kind of jump back into training. I had a very short training block coming into this because it was a decision I made around Christmas, New Year's time.
Okay.
So I had a really short training block leading into this. And so I think I just need to put a lot of work in before Desert Solstice to truly be ready for that. So
yeah, much smaller loop course.
Yes.
Definitely. I mean, 50% turn, 50% straight. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a different challenge. And we're going to be out there live streaming that race. We'll be really
cool.
excited to see. And the field just keeps getting deeper and deeper. So
Yes.
that's going to be really exciting to
Yeah.
see. But you're going to have some great motivation coming in from, just having been married. That's going to be exciting. A few happy life changes.
Absolutely.
It sounds like. What are you looking to stay here in this little loop course timed efforts, or are we looking to go back into trails eventually? What are you finding here that's inspiring about this, other than just fast times, which you're obviously doing? But what do you like about this little first experience on a loop course and chasing times and goals?
Yeah.
What was your first experience like?
I didn't know what to expect. I was like, it's either going to be really cool or I'm going to absolutely hate it. So I figured there'd not really be a middle ground for that. So I actually really enjoyed it. The mile loop, or 1.2, whatever it is like a really nice distance. It feels really fast, but I feel like you get some time out there. So the track will be a little different.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I'll give it a try, see how it goes. I definitely can't give up my mountain trail time. So I'll go back to that too. But it is fun to introduce a new challenge and just see how that goes.
Where do you call home, and what kind of trails do you typically like to train in?
So I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. So we're a quick drive up to the North Georgia mountains. The Appalachian Trail, Pinhoti Trail, Bent Mackay. There's a ton of trails there. Very different than the trails here.
Yeah.
We call it a green tunnel. There's no views. It's covered in trees, which is nice in the summer with the shade. But there's tons of rocks and roots. It's very technical, but they're great mountains. We definitely don't have the altitude out west, but we have some good steep climbs.
Yeah. Luckily, you won't have to worry about altitude too much at Desert
Yeah.
Solstice. Zero elevation change on that course.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be exciting. I actually went to the East Coast for the first time myself. My partner's from Virginia, so I went out
nice.
there just recently. Went out to Virginia Beach, did some running. So yeah, I get what you mean by no mountains anywhere,
Yeah.
and just green tunnels that you run through.
Yeah.
I'm from Colorado and Utah, so
Oh,
I am
you're
used to
spoiled.
mountains being
Yeah.
literally in my backyard.
Yeah.
So it's a different experience for me. And it sounds like this was a fun, different experience for you, and you had some great success. What was your nutrition plan going into it? Were you practicing a Desert Solstice, I'm going to have access every single lap, so I need to practice that? How did you handle those 1 mile laps with your nutrition, hydration, and all of that?
Yeah, that was a super different thing for me. It was really nice to not have to wear a pack.
Right.
So running 100 miles pretty hands-free and all that stuff was great. So yeah, I just did kind of what I normally do, but just without a pack. I usually am just a gel person. I use goo gels, and my electrolytes are usually Pedialyte. So
That's
nothing
I love
crazy.
that. I absolutely love that. It's been something I've done for years. And
Nice.
people are just well, you don't use the tablets and the new this drink and the mix of that. It's no, Pedialyte works great.
It works great.
It's fantastic. Yeah. What do you do career-wise outside of ultra running when you're not here? What do you do back at home?
I'm a pediatric nurse anesthetist. If you can say that word, that's good. It's basically anesthesia. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. What took you into that, and how did you find yourself doing these ultra marathons?
I didn't start ultras until after grad school. So I was a nurse first. I worked in the pediatric ICU. Grew tired of that and looked for another career and found this one, and I love it. It's the best thing I ever did.
That's awesome.
It's really cool. It's a fun job. The kids are really fun. It's a great schedule. I work usually 7 to 3, Monday through Friday. You get off in time to get a run in before family's ready for dinner and all the things. So it just fits in nicely.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. We had a theory. I doctorate in physical therapy myself, and I think my running career started a little bit beforehand. But I understand the idea of in your program, your doctorate programs, your postgraduate programs, you end up putting so much time and effort. And I was kind of reflecting back of like, oh yeah, I was in school for 8 hours a day, and then you study for multiple hours a day.
Yeah.
And we find this common theme of post-doc grads who end up like, I've got so many extra hours in a day. What do I do now?
Not what.
Did you find yourself like kind of like, well, I'm used to doing all this work in a day, and now I have an extra few hours. I'm just gonna go, I don't know, run in some mountains.
Yeah, basically. Same thing. Like my life had been so busy in school and all the things that I had a lot of extra time. I also got like pressured into it. A friend wanted me to run a half marathon with her.
It's always how it goes.
Yeah, and I was like, no, that's crazy. That's way too far. I would never run that far. But I obviously did it, and then I was like, oh, I guess running is kind of fun.
And here you are running
we are.
100 miles in under 15 hours for second place in the USATF 100-mile championships. Did you ever imagine you'd be here?
No, not even a little bit. No.
That is fantastic. We're super glad to have you. So the two things that I like to finish with are what makes you unique and what makes you you generally as a person.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. I just always like a challenge, which I don't know if that's super unique, but.
No, I think a lot of people are okay with not being challenged and settle into it.
Yeah.
You seem like someone who, as a nurse and then moving on to pediatric
Anesthetist.
Thank
Yes.
you. I was going to say anesthesiology, but anesthetist. There we go. It sounds like you appreciate growth. And how did you grow out here in this race, and what lessons did you learn to take forward with you?
I just learned to like be steady, be patient, trust yourself. It can pay off. Like, I think the big thing is being patient. Like, don't be tempted to chase the fast ones out there. Just keep your mind on your goals. And I just learned that I didn't have any idea I could do this. So
right, and
it just feels cool.
You're still learning out here that thinking that 15:30 was your stretch goal, and you like, that's gonna be crazy if I can reach it, and here you are with I think your official time was what, 14:46? 46. Yeah, that's incredible. You had a fantastic race out there. It was really fun to have you here and to call your race and to witness you move up through the field and just consistently get stronger throughout the day. When everyone else was fading off, you were getting stronger, you were smiling, you were having conversations with those around you. It was great to see. So thank you for joining us out here. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me. I'm going to give you one last opportunity to shout out anyone that you would like to shout out. The mic is all yours.
My coach, obviously, Nicole Manette. She's great. She's got me ready for this, even in short notice. And then my crew that was here is Tim, is my fiance, and his brother Phil kept me going all day. Those are the big ones for this weekend.
I love it. I know that this is a very selfish individual sport, but yet we couldn't do it without those that support us.
Yeah.
And so giving everyone the opportunity to shout out those that support them is something I really appreciate. So thank you for sharing that with us. Thanks for having a fantastic day and give us some excitement out there. Congratulations on your second place. We'll let you get back to recovering, get those feet up, and get ready for Desert Solstice and a wedding. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. I'm excited.
Awesome.
It's a good year.
Thank you.
Thank you.